Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Brad. Sorry for the poor sound and video quality, but I'm on a cell phone. I guess I really always have been. Someday I'm gonna upgrade my rig if I ever start making videos with any regularity. But anyway, just had a shower thought and I thought it was worth sharing, even though it's absolutely nothing that isn't all over the internet, all over YouTube, already been talked about 1,000 times. But I was thinking about how to explain some really basic music theory to a friend of mine, and I was actually thinking about it in terms of a tongue drum. And I don't have a tongue drum. I'm going to be getting one in a little over a month. So, obviously any other diatonic instrument will do just fine. Guitars are chromatic, but you can play diatonic stuff on them because, well, that's how chromatic instruments work. Anyway, so I was thinking about just explaining like a major scale and how to build chords from a major scale. So we're going to be working today in C because it's real easy. There's no sharps, no flats. So in a C major scale, there's 7 notes, or in any major scale, there's 7 notes. So in C, that's going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, C. Okay, so that was up through 2 octaves. So from C to C is just. So 1 octave, C to C. I went 2 octaves in the first bit because it does just repeat up and down the neck. You can go on basically forever. So that's nice. And of course, like different positions down. Anyway, that's not what we're here to do. What we're here to do is talk about kind of the basics of building chords. And what got me thinking about this was tongue drums, steel tongue drums, really cool instrument, are, as far as I know, if they're any good, always tuned to a certain key, but they typically don't. The little tongues are labeled, but they're not labeled, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. They're labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So they're labeled with their numbers. So, in a C major scale, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is also back to 1s. And so, that's, when you start thinking that way, when you start thinking in terms of those numbers, that's a really easy way to build chords. In any major scale or any scale that's based on a major scale, you have 3 major chords, 3 minor chords, and a diminished chord. So for instance, in C, you've got C major, which is based off the 1. So you've got a 1, a 3, and a 5. You've got an F, which is a 4, a 6, and a 1. Or 8, 4, 6, 8, 4, 6, 1, whatever. And then a G, which is 5, a 7, and a 2. So just thinking about how that's built, that's actually what got me to making this whole video, was thinking about the stability of these chords in their key. So obviously C is going to feel right at home because you're in C major. This is the resting chord. This is the root. So it's like a little bit, you know, a little bit away from it. So there's like a little bit of movement, but really not much. To me, you know, I'll play something perhaps a little more interesting. So you see how from that G to C, it really feels like it's resolving. And I got to thinking about why. So when you look at how chords are built, you basically can take a note, skip the next note, and then take that one. So 1, skip 2, go to 3. Skip 4, go to 5. 1, 3, 5, that's a C major chord in C. If it was, you know, in the key of G, that'd be a G major, whatever. To build your F chord, you're starting at the 4th F, skip 5, go to 6. Skip 7, go to 8, which is 1. So you've got a 4, a 6, and a 1. Okay? So something really interesting about how scales work is the 1 chord is always going to be the most at rest. That's home. That's where you live. But the next most restful place is your 6 chord. That's what's called the relative minor. So C's relative minor, C, is A minor. It shares a note with that C chord, and in fact, the note that it shares is what makes A minor, and not be A major. Hear the difference there. So A minor is A, C, E. If it was going to be A major, it would be A, C sharp, E. So that's what makes it, what defines it. Anyway, so going back to this F chord, you've got an F, an A, and a C. So it already has, aside from the F, it already has the 2 most restful things in that whole scale. So I mean, it's a little bit away from home, but it's not really too far to come back home. It doesn't have a whole lot of pull. Compare that with a G major chord. See how it feels like it's really just coming back to rest. It's coming back home. That's because a G major chord has a G, a B, and a D. That's a 1, that's a 5, a 7, and a 2. So 5, okay, that's G. 7, that's B. So it's 1/2 step away from C. It's almost to C and it really wants to go there. D is 1 step away from C. It's really close, but it wants to go there. But neither one's like quite there. They're close enough that it feels like it should be moving that way, but it's not getting there. So, and so you get that nice kind of little movement there. And that's why, that's how you can build movement in songs, you know. That little thing I did earlier where I said, oh, let's make it more interesting. I mean, still kind of really boring stuff, but it was C, E minor, D minor, G, and then coming back to rest on C. Now, without actually having that D minor in there, you couldn't tell if that was in the key of C or the key of G. because they share the same chords. The D minor shows you're in C, because it would be a D major in G. But that's a whole nother thing. You could feel how there was kind of some movement there, and then it came back to rest, it came back to home on C. It's just a way you can feel like a kind of completion. Whereas, watch if I did the exact same thing, but instead of the G, I'm going to have this F. And it's still going to resolve, it's still going to sound nice because all the chords are in the same key. It's going to work, but it's not going to sound as strong. It's not going to feel like it's coming home as well. So, I mean, yeah, but it feels like there's a whole lot more movement between the D minor and the F than there is really between the F and the C. And the F to C doesn't really feel like it's bringing you back home. It feels like it's bringing you into, okay, well, we better keep going. It's like, yeah, that was a nice little way station. So like from D minor to F to C, it's a weak resolution. I don't know, just something to think on. Kind of a basic little intro into how you can count, how basically you can build chords just by counting. If you can count to 7, you can build any chord. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so, you know, you would take a 1, skip this 2, have a 3. Okay, so look, we've got a C and an E, and those are my first 2 fingers for a C chord. This is a G, which isn't in, yeah, it is. It is in a C major chord, huh? C, E, G. So there you go. Then you get another C up here. And you can even get another E down here. And you can build any other chord just the exact same way. You can build that E minor chord, which is the 3rd chord in the key of C major. So you've got an E, another E, oh, I'm sorry, a B, another E, a G. This stays open, it's a B, and another E. So, you know, building chords gets to be really easy if a little time consuming, you know, doing it that way. But you can pretty much figure out what anything is just by looking at like, oh, okay, what notes does it have in it? Oh, that's a C chord, that's an E chord, that's an E minor, that's a C sus4, which we'll talk about in another video. Anyway, this was really fun. I don't really get in front of a camera nearly as much as I should, but I think I'm going to start. So look forward to seeing y'all again in the future. Thank you very much.